Ip Man is sitting at a restaurant with his wife Chung Wing Sing and their two sons Ip Chun and Ip Ching. A customer from across the room is watching them, giving them a condescending look. Ip Man responds in 5 seconds, not with violence, not with anger, with something that changes the man's entire understanding of respect, dignity, and true power. What happens in those 5 seconds doesn't just end a disagreement, it gives the customer a lesson he'll carry for the rest of his life. Hong Kong, 1955. Saturday evening, 8 p.m. A middle-class Chinese restaurant in Yau Ma Tei, a place decorated with red lanterns, wooden tables, and polite waiters. The kind of restaurant you can go to once a week, a luxury saved for special occasions for most workers. Ip Man and Chung Wing Sing have been married for 12 years. Their two sons are at home with a nanny. Ip Chun is 9 years old. Ip Ching is 5. This is their first time alone in 6 months. A moment to breathe. To be Ip Man and Chung instead of mom and dad. To remember why they love each other. Both are dressed carefully. Ip Man is wearing a dark suit. Simple, clean, no tie. Chung is in a blue Chongzam dress she bought specifically for tonight. Her hair is up, she's wearing light makeup. It feels good to feel like adults instead of parents drowning in childcare and exhaustion. They're celebrating. It's been 6 months since Ip Man opened his Wing Chun school in Hong Kong. The struggles of the first months are starting to fade. His students are increasing, not just those who stay for a few months and leave anymore. Serious students are coming. Those who heard of the master's reputation. A step forward, a reason to celebrate. The restaurant is crowded. Saturday evening rush, couples on dates, business dinners, anniversary celebrations. The lights are dim. Romantic candles on every table. Light Cantonese music playing in the background. A place where the outside world doesn't matter, where you get close. Ip Man and Chung have settled into a corner table. Privacy. Perfect. They're sitting hand in hand across the table, talking about unimportant things, about Ip Chun imitating kung fu moves, about Ip Ching's laugh, about maybe returning to Foshan one day, maybe just the two of them. Dream planning, the kind of conversation that feels good just to have. Just then, a man from a few tables away starts watching them. A businessman in his 40s, wealthy looking, in a suit. Next to him is a young man, probably his assistant or partner. There's something in this wealthy customer's facial expression, a cold, judgmental look. He's eyeing Ip Man, then looking at Chung, then back at Ip Man, assessing, judging, making calculations about what he's seeing. He whispers something to the young man next to him. Both smile, a mocking, condescending smile. Ip Man notices. Of course he notices. He spent his life reading body language, reading the intention beneath words. That's what being a Wing Chun master requires. Seeing the setup before the attack comes. Reading the intention before the movement. He sees the wealthy customer's expressions, the slight curl of his lip, the judgment in his eyes, how his posture changes when looking at Chung versus Ip Man. He sees all of it, but doesn't react. Not yet. Just watching, waiting, giving the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's imagining things. Maybe he's become too sensitive after years of class discrimination. Chung notices too. She's been with Ip Man long enough to recognize the signs, the looks, the comments. The microaggressions that aren't as subtle as people think. Even her own family didn't approve of this marriage at first. The questions, are you marrying a poor martial arts teacher? The looks when walking hand in hand on the street. The assumption that she'd be better off with someone wealthy. She's heard it all. Developed thick skin, but it still hurts. Still makes her angry. Still makes her want to stand up and shout, I love my husband and everyone else can go to hell. Their food arrives. It looks perfect. Beautifully cooked, carefully presented. But the conversation isn't flowing like before. The evening's magic is broken. Just then, the wealthy customer stands up, walking toward their table. His steps are determined, superior. The young man next to him follows with a smile. The man is standing by their table, completely ignoring Ip Man, only looking at Chung. His voice is polite, superficial, but the tone carries something. Sharp, designed to wound subtly. "How is your evening, madam?" he says. "It must be difficult eating at a place like this." Looking at Chung, then at the table. "What I mean is, I'm saying your husband can't take you to a better place. Maybe if you had chosen someone more suitable, you could go to a real restaurant." The words hang in the air like an insult. The implication is clear. Ip Man isn't good enough, not wealthy enough, not successful enough. Chung deserves better, someone richer, someone more important. The words are carefully chosen, vague enough not to be openly complained about, but clear enough to insult, designed to make Ip Man feel small, without allowing him to fight back. The table goes silent. Chung's face flushes. Anger, shame, fury at this man disrespecting her husband. Anger at herself for not saying something earlier. She opens her mouth, about to correct him. But Ip Man gently squeezes her hand. A signal. "I'll handle this. Leave it to me." Ip Man looks at the customer. His face is calm. Completely calm. No anger, no visible reaction. Just looking at him. Eye contact, direct, unwavering. The kind of eye contact that makes people uncomfortable, that forces you to really see, to acknowledge as human, as equal, as worthy of basic respect. Ip Man holds that eye contact for 2 seconds, just 2 seconds. But those 2 seconds feel like eternity to the customer. Uncomfortable, shifting his weight, realizing he just said something he shouldn't have, realizing he might be in trouble. Then Ip Man speaks. His voice is quiet. So quiet the customer has to lean in to hear. But every word is clear. Every word lands with precision. Ip Man says, "My wife is very happy with her choice, and if it's a problem for you, I ask that you show us both the respect you would want to show your own family." 5 seconds. That's all it takes. 5 seconds from the customer saying "suitable" to Ip Man finishing his sentence. 5 seconds to completely change the power dynamic at this table. 5 seconds to teach a lesson without raising his voice, without threatening, without using violence. Just 5 seconds of quiet dignity and direct truth. The customer's face goes white first, then red. Shame covers his face. He realizes his mask slipped, realizes his prejudice showed, realizes he insulted Ip Man in front of his wife. A man who has every right to make a scene, demand a manager, embarrass him, but didn't. Instead, Ip Man gave him something worse. Truth. A mirror. Made him see his own ugliness reflected back. The customer stammers. "I'm sorry," he says. "I didn't mean," he says. It came out wrong, making excuses, trying to save face, but the damage is done. The truth is out. He was disrespectful. He was prejudiced. He tried to make Ip Man feel small, but made himself look small. Ip Man just nods. Doesn't accept the apology, doesn't reject it, just acknowledges. The customer returns to his table. His hand is shaking slightly. The young man next to him is stunned. Can't quite understand what happened, but sees that his boss just got taught a lesson. Cheung looks at Ip Man with something between admiration and fury. Admiration for how he handled it. Fury that he had to handle it at all. Fury that their life is like this. That they can't even go to a nice dinner without someone bringing up race or class. Fury that someone decided Ip Man isn't good enough for her. Ip Man sees her anger, understands it, shares it. But he learned something over the years. That uncontrolled anger makes everything worse. Makes the prejudiced person feel justified. Escalates the situation. So, Ip Man controls himself. Not because he's weak, because he's strong. Because true power is choosing not to destroy someone you could easily destroy. They sit in silence for a moment. Processing, breathing. trying to get back to where they were before, back to celebration, back to romance. The evening the customer poisoned, but they won't let him win, won't let him take this night from them. Their food is perfect, beautifully cooked, excellently presented. They eat mostly in silence. The conversation doesn't flow like before. The evening's magic is broken. But they're together. They're supporting each other. That matters. When they finish, Ip Man pays. Leaves a normal tip. Not generous, not stingy. Just appropriate. Making a point. As they're leaving, the customer approaches. Nervous. Says he wants to apologize again. Says he's been thinking about what Ip Man said. About showing the respect you want to show your own family. Says his own son is dating a girl. Someone his family doesn't approve of. From a poorer family. Says he's been poisoning his son's life. Says Ip Man's words hit him. Made him see his own hypocrisy. Ip Man stops. Looks at the customer. Really looks. Sees a man struggling. A man raised with certain beliefs. Trying to unlearn them. A man who made a mistake and is trying to be better. Ip Man asks the customer's name. The customer says Chen Wei. Ip Man extends his hand. Says, Mr. Chen, everyone deserves a chance to grow. To be better than yesterday. You made a mistake tonight. You recognized it. That's the first step. The next step is doing better. Treating everyone with dignity. Teaching your son that love matters more than what others think. Chen shakes Ip Man's hand. His eyes are wet. He thanks him. Says he won't forget this. Says he'll call his son tonight. Will apologize to him. Will meet his girlfriend. Will be the father he deserves. Not the father his parents taught him to be. Ip Man nods. Tells Chen to take care. Ip Man and Chung walk into the night. 3 weeks later, Ip Man receives a letter sent to his home. Return address is the restaurant. He opens it. It's from Chen Wei, 2 handwritten pages, thanking Ip Man. Explaining that he called his son that night, apologized, met his girlfriend, that they're good people, in love just like he and his wife were when they were young, that he almost lost his son because of his prejudice, that Ip Man saved that relationship by showing him what respect actually looks like. Chen writes that he's been a businessman for 20 years, met thousands of people, had his own prejudices his whole life. Small ones, quiet ones. The kind that don't seem like a big deal until someone holds up a mirror. That Ip Man held up that mirror. That 5 seconds of dignity taught him more than 50 years of living. Chen ends the letter saying he knows Ip Man is famous. That after that night he researched him. Watched Wing Chun demonstrations. That he's amazed and honored that someone so talented and skilled responded to his disrespect with such grace. Most men would have made a scene, would have gotten him fired, would have humiliated him, but Ip Man chose to teach instead of destroy, gave him a chance to be better. And that choice changed his life. Ip Man shows Chung the letter. Chung cries, happy tears, relief tears, validation. That the pain they constantly experience isn't for nothing. That sometimes moments of indignity can become moments of teaching. That Ip Man's restraint wasn't weakness, was strategy, was planting a seed that turned into something better. 20 years later, Ip Man is gone. Chung is raising Ip Chun and Ip Ching alone, navigating grief and keeping Ip Man's legacy alive. She gets a call. A man named Chen Wei, saying he doesn't know if she remembers him, says he disrespected her and Ip Man at a restaurant in 1955. Says Ip Man changed his life that night. Says his son got engaged to the girl Chen once objected to. They're getting married. They want to name their first son after Ip Man, after the man who saved their family. Chen wants Chung to know that Ip Man's impact went beyond films, beyond martial arts, that the 5 seconds in 1955 rippled forward into grandchildren, changed lives, and love that exists because Ip Man chose to act with dignity. Chiung thanks Chen, tells him Ip Man would be honored, tells him that Ip Man believed everyone deserves a chance to grow, that mistakes don't define us. Our response to mistakes defines us. Chen made a mistake, recognized it, changed because of it. That's all Ip Man ever wanted for people, to be better tomorrow than they are today. The conversation ends. Chung hangs up, sits with the weight of it. Ip Man has been gone 20 years, but he's still teaching, still changing lives, still proving that real power isn't in your fists. It's in your words, your dignity, your willingness to give people room to become better. The 5 seconds in 1955 became a lifetime of change for Chen, became a saved relationship, became grandchildren named Ip Man, became proof that how we respond to hate determines whether hate continues or dies. How many Chens are in your life right now? How many people disrespecting you or others out of ignorance instead of malice? And when that happens, do you destroy or do you teach? Do you humiliate or do you give space for growth? Because 5 seconds of dignity can change someone's entire life, can break cycles of prejudice, can save relationships, can plant seeds that grow into grandchildren carrying your name. Ip Man understood that, chose teaching over destroying, chose dignity over anger, chose truth over violence. And those 5 seconds rippled forward into decades, into generations, into proof that real strength is giving people a chance to be better, even when they don't deserve it. Especially when they don't deserve it, because that's when change happens. When someone expects punishment and receives grace instead. When someone deserves humiliation and receives teaching instead. That's power. That's legacy. That's 5 seconds that echo forever.